People have been saying for thousands of years, probably, maybe even tens of thousands of years.
Yep.
They've been using psychedelics to connect to spirits, whatever that means. And I took a and I had an experience that I can only describe as this experience, which seemed almost Native American.
Holy moly, I found you some live ones. So alive, in fact, that they find deeper meaning in everything around them, from the trees to the rocks. It's all one with each other.
Very pure spirits.
But to be serious, I debated with myself if I honestly should do them because she seems nice and doesn't actually make any claims that could be harmful or damaging. She doesn't advise against seeking medical treatment, so there is that. But then I watched it with my wife and we laughed our asses off together, so it got the pitching bullshit seal of approval from my wife and production started rapidly, because I'm behind schedule as usual. Oh, and don't you think I forgot about the sticky beaver promise. I'll be buying a large quantity of sugar this week and plan to be covered in sticky late next week. So if you give me a week or so, depending on when I get this video out, I guess, then I'll be sticky and delicious. I do have a kid's tub for it and I plan to roll around a bit. It should be hilarious. But back to these two and their ever-living world around us.
That was amazing! That was the most beautiful performance I've ever seen in my life.
Hi, so finally I'm making a video about crystals. Crystals, there's something which I have only recently got into. I am going to go ahead and say that these things have contributed so much towards my growth and my happiness and blah blah. This, he doesn't want to focus. This is clear quartz. This is called the Master Healer. This heals all sorts of problems.
Clear quartz uses. Strengthens the body's aura, chakras, energies, which stimulates the immune system, bringing the body physical balance and good health. Luckily, she stops there with the health stuff. Assists with the perception of higher realms of consciousness and awareness. Attunes the mind, body, and spirit connection and communication? I don't even know if that sentence is written right. Ideal for programming as it amplifies your thoughts, enhancing their energy and therefore boosting the power of your intentions. Facilitates memory and dream work and recall. What? That is the most broken sentence. Facilitates memory and dream work and recall. Jesus.
This is clear quartz. This is clear quartz. This is amethyst.
Don't worry, everybody. Wait till her friend comes in. He's a lot of fun. But let's get through amethyst uses. So what do we have here? We have ignite spiritual awakening and development by activating the third eye chakra, crown chakra, and the lesser known 8th soul star chakra. Now, tell me why it's lesser known. Is it bullshit? Relieves stress, calms overactive minds, and brings clarity in times of suffering or chaos by aiding the transmission of neural signals through the brain. Amazing for meditation as it helps let go of mundane or trivial thoughts so as to remain open and receptive to intuitive insight and a deeper spiritual understanding. Helps you break free from unhealthy behavior or psychological patterns like addictions to food, sex, or various party substances. Oh my goodness, the secret is amethyst.
This is hematite.
Bear with me, everybody. Once we make our way through this bullshit, we're going to get into how crystals are formed. Hematite uses. Particularly effective for grounding in everyday life and during and after meditation. Protects against negative or unwanted energies from entering your auric field, such as harmful electromagnetic waves from laptops, phones, televisions, Wi-Fi, etc. Transforms negative energy into elevated, more positive energy so that our intentions aren't affected by any unwanted influence, in turn illuminating the power of the vibration of thoughts and revealing their codependency with our reality. Holy shit. Balances your base or root chakra, which helps us feel more safe, confident, courageous, and optimistic in a way which allows us to discover hidden talents or abilities. Who writes this stuff?
This is Serpentine.
I know. Don't go. It's the last one. Okay? We just gotta get through Serpentine.
So boring, man.
Okay.
The car just committed
don't-
suicide.
Shut up, man.
Serpentine uses. Heard of a Kundalini awakening? Serpentine activates and aids the travel of Kundalini energy up the spine and through the chakras. Cleanses and purifies any stagnant energy stored in your physical and spiritual body's energetic centers or chakras. Helps us to let go of what we don't need by realigning our value systems like a serpent shedding old, outgrown skin or relationships or careers, to make way for fresher, more truthful perspectives, a lighter, brighter, cleaner spirit. Its energy promotes compassion and forgiveness for yourself and others by encouraging the clearing of emotional baggage to make way for true spiritual understanding and wisdom.
All resonate at different frequencies. Whenever I bring clear quartz into my electromagnetic field, just by having it within my aura, it is adjusting my aura so that it resonates at the same frequency as this. So I very much have a relationship with my crystals, almost like they're like my children or like my friends, especially this guy. This guy is like a best friend to me, and I can't explain why. But whenever it's a he. Whenever I have him in my hand, it's just like, I don't know, it sort of defies explanation.
Hey boys, this is a family channel. I want to see good, wholesome comments down in the comments section. You know what you're thinking about. Stop it. Stop. Hey. Hit like while you're looking at this.
Explaining this to my bud Dakota and saying like, I really feel like they're a living thing. I know that sounds very bizarre, but I feel like there is a relationship.
Has a life, has a spirit, has a name.
There he is. Hi, bud.
Hey, what's up? My name's Dakota. So, I had this crazy experience. I was out in the woods, took a bunch of mushrooms, one of those kind of things, you know?
Yeah,
And
as you do.
As you do, you know? And I had this experience which has sort of been talked about in a lot of cultures. This isn't totally an alien experience to have. Like, people have been saying for thousands of years, probably. Maybe even tens of thousands of years.
Yep.
They've been using psychedelics to connect to spirits. Whatever that means.
He sounds so convincing. His to connect to spirits, you know, whatever that means. I've already watched this. I've had other people watch it. This guy is awesome. He is not there for the belief in crystals. He's there for her. I mean, it's pretty obvious. He talks a whole bunch of stupid right now, and I love it. I love all of it. And he's really instilling confidence in his education on the subject matter. It's, you know, spirits and stuff, I guess, you know. That reminds me of a joke, you know. There's the guy sitting on the operating table, and the doctor comes in, and he's going, you got this. Everything's going to be okay. You know, you've done this before. You know, this is nothing new. And he goes, I've never been in an operation before. And the doctor looks over and says, oh, no, sorry. I was talking to myself.
And I took a bunch of mushrooms, and I had an experience that I can only describe as this experience, which seemed almost Native American. The Native American sort of perspective is that, like, the earth is filled with spirits. Like, there's
I thought you were going to say the earth is flat.
That's awesome. These crystal crazies, they don't really believe the earth is flat, and he thinks they're nuts. You guys catch that, you flat earthers?
They think that, like, the trees have spirits and this kind of thing. The forest has spirits. There's the forest spirit, and
everything's just alive. Or
and
has
everything's alive.
consciousness.
But so I had an
Well, I don't know what to say to you, Dakota. I get where you're coming from, but why would you call it a Native American experience? There are many Aboriginal cultures that worship the trees either as sacred or as living beings. To be honest, I was going to list some of them and maybe talk about a few, but when I was looking, it was so abundant that I kind of decided not to waste my time. Suffice to say, it's not restricted to the natives of America, or natives at all for that matter. This was kind of dumb, Dakota, but please, do go on.
Spirits. The only thing I can explain it as, which would sound ridiculous to myself previous to the experience. But I had this experience of talking to the spirit, and the spirit was explaining reincarnation to me, and explaining consciousness to me, and telling me how everything, including everything you see, including crystals, everything is made up of vibrating energy. Everything is made up of this consciousness. And
What are you doing?
so everything is made up of consciousness. And I remember just being like almost kind of snobby in a way, be like, okay, so this rock right here, this rock in front of my face right now,
I love that was your response.
is alive. This thing is, you're telling me like I'm consciousness, which is expressing itself in this through this living body, and I'm the same as this rock that is just this inanimate sort of hard thing. And it was like, yeah, absolutely, 100%. This rock is an expression of that consciousness, and that body that it's taken doesn't need to react to reality the same way that you do.
Yeah, it just doesn't have a need to
It doesn't.
express itself.
This is what
physically.
our bodies need. In the same way, a tree doesn't have to act like a human,
But it's definitely alive.
but it's definitely alive.
If one of you falls and there's no one around, do you make a noise?
Are you kidding? Scott fell last week. He hasn't shut up about it since.
Sure, stand there and bitch. But would any of you take the time to help me?
Rocks are the same way. It's just this is what they do.
They
It's
don't
just
need to
this.
move to survive like we do. They
We are all energetic beings in the sense that we are all made of the same building blocks when you get down to it, protons, neutrons, and electrons. But this idea that a rock is somehow a conscious creature that just has no need for self-expression is kind of a load. Now, they did just find life that was breathing arsenic in the Pacific Ocean, meaning that perhaps if you had a planet where there was like liquid metal oceans, perhaps you could have a rock creature that had mercury for blood. What they were not saying is an inanimate object is life, or that metal itself would be alive, as so much as it would use different building blocks to come to a similar biological outcome. This is all, of course, speculation and in no way based on anything other than that. Just preconceived knowledge that we gain here on our own planet that we use to speculate.
as soon as Dakota told me that, I was like, that makes so much goddamn sense.
And I'm not into this kind of stuff at all. Like, I'm not like a twisted kind of guy by any kind of means, and nor am I like a spirit kind of guy. Like, I don't even, I don't really believe in ghosts or any of this kind of stuff. But this is an experience I had while on a bunch of mushrooms by myself in the forest, and I had the experience, and this is just me reporting back to it. It is what it is. It's definitely something I would have called BS on. But take a bunch of mushrooms by yourself in the forest,
and then see if it's BS.
Take some mushrooms, he says. Go into the forest alone, he says. Have an experience. see if it's crazy, I hate to tell you, but they're called hallucinogenics taking a stretch here. They're hallucinogenic effects on people. Talking to tree spirits, if you're somebody who's already kind of like in touch with spiritualness, is not exactly a stretch. Like, my brother's into Hawking's and physics and stuff, and last time he did mushrooms, he came back talking about physics and how, space-time is a grid and you can see it and all that kind of stuff. It stands to reason that it's similar to a dream. He's just pulling things out of his own memory and utilizing them. So you saw talking tree spirits, my brother sees a grid, and sees like physics, basically. That sounds about right. People are just seeing what they're into. But just like Red Pill's just a globe skeptic, this guy is not totally into spiritualness or anything. I mean, not at all, right?
This kind of stuff at all. Like, I'm not like a twisted kind of guy by any kind of means. Mantra meditation, and I was getting to all these far out, deep places. And I had this experience where I got to a place where I had no thoughts at all. I had no thoughts. And this whole time I was just sitting there thinking, like, I was mind blown at how empty everything was. I was just like, oh my God, man, this, like, I'm really doing it. I'm meditating right now. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh my God, this meditation works.
I actually had to compose myself before I started recording this, because, like, how many times do you have to think things while you've cleared your entire mind of thoughts? And, like, even, like, did he ever watch that back to himself and think, fuck, that's dumb? I just cleared all my thoughts, and then that whole time while they were cleared, I was just thinking, wow, think about how clear my thoughts are. Oh, give me a moment, I'll be back.
Fell out the sky for sure. For sure. And it's very strange. Doesn't it look like it's got craters on it? If you look into Moldavite, very, very strange. I don't know if you guys can see it there. My camera doesn't want to play focus. But it's almost got like craters on it. It's like glass, but it's it's indestructible, really. And it's... It's one of the only crystals whose energy is literally palpable. You can literally hold it in your hand and you can feel the energy coming off it. So right now my hand is throbbing and it's hot where it sits. It creates like a very weird magnetic sort of feeling in my hand. Do you want to try?
Now, away from natural crystals that we find in the ground and around places, and more to artificial crystals, when it comes to quartz, we need a fair amount of it for our electronic devices, but the quartz that you use on your driveway or in your rock gardens isn't exactly usable for industrial purposes. That white tinge that it gets is from impurities and also cracks that form in the quartz that make it fairly difficult to find usable pieces that are pure enough to actually use in our electronics.
You'd think you could just use it as it is.
With natural crystal, you have cracks like this, and the yield is poor, so it's useless as a product.
This is where plants like these ones come in, where they actually produce quartz over the course of an entire year using basically a laminated sheet of quartz, and then they cook the quartz in these large cookers, and the quartz on the rocks that basically dissolves into a gas state, it has to condense back somewhere. So it condenses back onto basically the quartz sheets that they start as the seed point, and voila, you have crystals the size of like boulders, really. I mean, look at these things. Each one of these crystals can do several 100,000 electronic devices in our modern world, so this is a very important resource. It's a neat video. Check it out. I'll leave the link in the description. As always, I want to thank everyone for coming by, watching my videos, hitting like, subscribe, and ringing that bell. Don't forget that bell, because otherwise you don't hear that I have a video. It's quite annoying, actually, even for my own subscriptions. I find it rather annoying. But hit the bell, hit subscribe, hit like, comment. Please comment. God damn it, comment. And I have already been covered in sticky syrup and maple syrup combined. So that is coming. It's done. Obviously, you saw that near the beginning of the video, but I have it all on tape, and it is coming out next week, I think. You know me. I'm a bit erratic on my schedule. We're trying to work on that. But thanks for coming by. I also have a Patreon, Discord, and, come on by and say hi on the Discord. I'm trying to get a little bit more lively. I've been in there commenting, chatting with people. So if you want to come say hi, and I'll chat you up. Take it easy. Okay, bye-bye.